From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White. The Prime Minister has wrapped up his first discussions with U.S. President Donald Trump as the two leaders shared a working lunch at the White House. Mark Carney was asked what was going through his mind when Trump repeated his thought that the U.S. should annex Canada and make it the 51st U.S. state.
I was clear there in the Oval Office, as I've been clear throughout on behalf of Canadians, that this is never going to happen. Canada is not for sale. It never will be for sale. Some things, as I said in the room, some things are never for sale. And he agreed with that.
Carney says he'll meet again in person with Trump at the G7 Leaders Summit this June in Alberta. Conservative MPs have chosen Andrew Scheer as their interim leader in the House of Commons. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre lost his Ottawa area riding on election night. He cannot serve as opposition leader in Parliament without a seat in the House of Commons. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is urging Ontario's Doug Ford to stay in his lane. Ford criticized the renewed discourse around Alberta separatism, saying Canada needs to remain united against the threat of U.S. tariffs. Smith says she and Ford have friendly disagreements.
I don't tell him how he should run his province, and I would hope that he doesn't tell me how I should run mine. But we have a very respectful relationship, and I hope that continues.
Discussions around Alberta separatism have grown since the recent federal election, and Smith's government is making it easier for Albertans to bring forward a referendum. The leader of the Souverainist Parti Québécois is cheering on a possible Alberta referendum. Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon says Alberta's premier has used the specter of a referendum to gain leverage in her demands of the federal government. Defense lawyers for one of the 5 hockey players accused of sexual assault in 2018 suggest the complainant was the one to bring up calling other players to the hotel room so she could have a wild night. The woman says she didn't recall saying that. The 5 members of Canada's 2018 World Junior Hockey team have all pleaded not guilty to sexual assault. The risk of another work stoppage at Canada Post looms in just over 2 weeks. An extension on existing deals between the Crown Corporation and the union are set to expire May 22nd. A strike or lockout would mark the second time in less than 6 months the Postal Service grinds to a halt after a 32-day work stoppage in November and December. Hundreds of Torontonians gathered to participate in a group scream, letting out all their heartbreak, anger, and frustration.
3, 2, 1.
Organizer Grace Turner says the idea came to her after experiencing heartbreak for the first time. Participants called it cathartic after going through their own recent breakups, job losses, and even just what felt like a really long winter. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Edmonton Oilers are in Las Vegas tonight, kicking off their NHL second-round playoff series against the Golden Knights. Calvin Pickard starts in goal for Edmonton. The Toronto Maple Leafs have not ruled out goaltender Anthony Stolarz for tomorrow's Game 2 with Florida. Leafs defenseman Brandon Carlo says his group is not interested in retribution.
That's the goal, is to continue to play hard between the whistles. And then let them do the antics afterwards.
Stolarz took an elbow to the head from Panther center Sam Bennett before eventually departing last night's opener in the second period. The Toronto Blue Jays start a 6-game road trip tonight against the Los Angeles Angels. Jays enter the contest 2.5 games back of the American League East leading New York Yankees. NBA action tonight has the Indiana Pacers continuing their second-round playoff series in Cleveland. And Canadian tennis player Victoria Maboko qualified for the Italian Open main draw with a comeback win over Kamila Rakimova today in Rome. From the Canadian Press, I'm Jason White.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.